This speaks to how people have a hard time accepting some of this new information. I have a friend who's a scientist, and the last time you were on, she said to me, "Did you have a climate denier on your show?" A climate change denier? And I said, he's definitely not denying it.
No, no.
Yeah. But some people, that's all they hear. When you bring forth a non-mainstream point of view or a controversial perspective, instead of considering the possibility, it almost immediately gets dismissed as
well, this climate change thing is another ideological struggle. Yeah, sure, climate change is taking place, but what are the causes for this? Are we so sure that it's all caused by human beings? I would say there's very good reason for humanity to clean up our act in lots of ways, regardless of the issue of climate change. We're abusing Mother Earth. We're living upon this planet like parasites and destroying it. We thoughtlessly create these gigantic pools of pollution. We're crazy enough, insane enough to actually invent nuclear weapons and, long periods of detonate the bloody things. There's lots about our behavior that we need to fix because it's right to fix it. Philosophically right. We should not behave that way. We should not behave that way to one another. We should not behave that way to planet Earth. But to say that we need to fix our behavior because of global warming, that's an ideological argument. And that argument remains to be properly tested. Yes, global warming is occurring, but are we the cause of it, or is something else, some grander scale cosmic effect involved in this?
We talked about that considerably, and I noticed in a lot of the comments from our last discussion, most of the critical comments were people, not liking the idea that I had questioned the dogma of global warming. But there are some facts that you can't escape. The global warming began 200 years ago. And we see that the glaciers from the Little Ice Age began to shrink back in the early 19th century. Before there was, a century before there was any significant human contribution of CO2 to the atmosphere. So something was driving that warming that began. And it's important to realize that the Little Ice Age was probably the coldest period since the end of the Great Ice Age. In fact, the data overwhelmingly supports that, and that the glaciers grew to their largest extent around the planet in 10,000 years. So when we're talking about glacier recession, it's important to understand what the baseline is. Our baseline in this case is the biggest the glaciers have been in 10,000 years. And what's interesting, and this is going on right now, as the glaciers have been receding, geologists and biologists and glaciologists and so forth have been studying the landscapes that are being revealed as the ice shrinks back. And what they're finding is the remains of forests that had been overrun by the Little Ice Age glaciers, and peat bogs and things that would suggest that prior to the onset of the Little Ice Age, those valleys that were filled with ice from roughly 1400 to 1800 were actually forested, because the ice came down and overran these forests, and now it's receding back and revealing that there were forests there. So that tells you that, at some point, probably going back to the medieval warm period, those areas that have been glaciated during the early part of the 20th century were actually free of ice. And so, the climate has been extremely dynamic. That's the thing we have to emphasize, all by itself, without any help from humans. And this is what I've been saying, is that we have to look at that and realize that, humans are a factor. Somebody I did post and said all the other factors I had mentioned as, ocean currents and wind currents and geomagnetic field and cosmic rays and volcanism and all that had all been investigated and dismissed, and the only thing left was the human contribution. But, to me, that's really, we're putting all our eggs in that basket, and that could turn out to be very dangerous, because we're so focused now on our own contribution that we might be overlooking the fact that there have been natural factors driving climate change over and over and over again. I mean, because I still have not heard any consensus on what has caused the planet to first go into an ice age and come back out of an ice age. And I think that what Graham and I are talking about actually presents a possible solution to what could have brought this planet out of the ice age, something on a grand cosmic scale. And the other point I think I'd like to make is that we have to really, to understand our planet as a system, we have to realize that it's part of a cosmic ecosystem. And the cosmos has been a much bigger player in what's been going on down here than has been previously understood or appreciated. And I think our ancestors probably did understand
they
that.
did understand it.
Yes.
The focus on the skies, if you go back into
Yes.
ancient times, is so strong. This notion of as above, so below, that we are connected to the cosmos. This is something that we're tending to forget in the modern world, again, because we're so puffed up with pride. Anyway, we can't see the sky if we live in
That's, I
cities.
think, a big issue. The
Yeah,
fact
light
that-
pollution. It's just
yeah.
like a haze up there. We don't see anything. So we're actually cut off from the cosmos psychologically, and that's a mistake, because we are part of this giant cosmic environment, and it affects us. And one of the way it affects us is the way that comets come into the inner solar system from time to time from deep space.
I was camping.